Hello everybody, how's it going? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to one of our weekly Spy Family. Almost said Spy X Family. I stopped myself. Are you happy? Episode 4, I am once again joined by the wonderful, Startacular Stella Luna.
Hello.
Yes, we are here. We are going to talk all about episode 4. Before we do though, I want to see 100 likes on this video before the end of the day. I'm giving you a challenge. 100 likes before the end of the day. And I will give you a crisp high five. Stella can confirm I give the crispest high fives. Crisp high five. But with that said, we're going to get into it, so get yourself a warm cup of tea, get real cozy, throw this video in another tab, and let's talk about Spy Family, episode 4. Almost did it again. It takes a long time to reprogram your brain. But yes, Spy Family, episode 4, it is test time. It is time for the big exam. This is what the whole show, the last 3 episodes, has been leading up to. This is the big exam. It goes as well as it could have, I'll say.
You know what? I'd almost say it actually went better.
Better than it could have. Yeah, I agree.
Because the things that had happened, they ended up being the opposite of what they thought was going to dock them points.
That's true.
I would say it was better.
I would be inclined to agree. I think they did a very good job. I think the only reason why things didn't quite go their way was because Mr. Swann is the worst. Congratulations, you get the award, Mr. Swann, for worst person in anime of the year, of the season so far. Congratulations, you absolute scumbag. Wow!
Yeah, wow. It was pretty bad. I was very offended watching.
Oh, I bet.
I'm sitting here, he's like, oh, so madam, do you cook? What do you cook, right? And Lloyd steps in and he's like,
Lloyd?
Well, huh?
Lloyd,
Twilight.
It's okay, I was calling him Lloyd a few times too.
I was like, well, we're using Lloyd in the in the sense that he is
Lloyd, and in this moment.
In this moment, yes. In this moment, he is Lloyd. He goes, well, I cook, for the most part, but sometimes when I'm very busy, Yor will go ahead and cook, right? And Mr. Swann was like, oh, you don't cook. Women are supposed to cook, right? Women are supposed to do this thing. Women are supposed I'm like, oh my fucking God. He was absolutely to his core being so misogynistic. Yeah. I wanted to punch him so fucking hard.
There was a few times where he spoke up where I just wanted to deck him in the face. Right? Because I'm like, oh, this friggin' guy, right? Because he was one sentence away from, make me a sandwich. You know what I mean? I was like, holy shit, dude, I thought that died in the 2000s. What is the matter with you? Right? Yeah. I was like, oh my God. But yeah,
I'm there's a good fucking reason you're getting divorced right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I hope that dude never has to deal... I hope that dude's kid never has to deal with his shit again. What an absolute scumbag, right? He was awful. Awful! Right? Because it wasn't just the Yor stuff, right? Because, obviously, Yor best waifu of the season, right? Yeah. I feel like that's undisputed, right? So obviously we were going to take some offense to that, right? We're like, what, freaking... Right? But then it was he was making these snide comments here and there saying about how he was jealous of Twilight and Yor, so he was going to try to dock them points wherever he could. And obviously Anya is she's reading everybody's minds in the room, right? So she hears this and she's like, oh crap, right? So it puts her on guard. But the one thing she was not prepared for was for him to ask which mom she likes more.
Yep.
And obviously, we don't know anything about Anya's real mom.
Yep.
Right? But that did strike a nerve, and it made her cry.
Yep.
When I say that I got so mad. I got so... I can only imagine, like, friends of ours who are, like, probably watching this episode, like, Mr. Swann, you absolute asshole! Because I know people love Anya, right? So, like, people must have been furious. Like, were you mad? I was, like, actually angry. Like, that genuinely... They did such a good job of making this dude, like, such an ass, right? Because I was so mad, right? So that by the time we see, like, Twilight going in for the punch and you're ready to just straight up kill him... I was like, well, because I'm like, Yor, keep it together, Twilight, keep it together! And it's like, everybody hold! Right? Like, everybody hold! But I would not have, I don't think I would have been able to keep my cool, right?
No.
Like, and when he goes in for the punch, like, if that punch connected, that dude would have turned to dust. Like, if Twilight connected, because he broke that table, like, to the point where he actually shattered his fist. Right? Like, he made his own hand bleed from how hard he connected with the table. The table was in pieces. Not in half. Pieces.
Yeah, pieces.
Right? I was like, oh my god. That was crazy.
It was super crazy. And it was crazy because, like, when Lloyd and Yor and Anya leave, right? And essentially Lloyd turns around and he says, you know... Like, because, like, Swann's like, oh, you, like, won't, like, get into the school with that behavior, or whatever he fucking says, right?
Some dumb
And he,
crap.
you know, some dumb shit, yeah. Lloyd is like, well, if this is how your establishment is and treats their children, then, you know, like, we don't want anything to do with it. Right?
Yes,
but said it in
100%.
such a way to make the other guy, what's Henry, whatever.
Henry, Mr. Henderson. Henry Henderson, yes. Elegant.
Henderson. Yeah, the elegant guy.
Yeah.
You know, to be like, you know what? You're right. You're right, right? And he...
We can't have people slandering this school's name. You are so correct. Right?
Yes.
Like, yeah.
Yep. Yep, but it ended up being Mr. Swann who was definitely slandering the name of the school, right?
Mm-hmm.
And fucking watching him deck him in the face.
It was so good because he doesn't just like punch him in the cheek or something. He like direct impact center of the face, probably broke his nose, right? Because that fist went into the face, right? Probably broke his nose, and the dude is just out. Right? I do feel bad for Mr. Evans, who was like, holy shit! Right? Mr. Evans was like, what is happening? Because Mr. Evans is the sweet one, right? So he was probably like, what just happened? Like, oh my god. I like Mr. Evans a lot, too. Like, Mr. Evans is definitely, like, Mr. Evans and Mr. Henderson are good. Like, Mr. Swann's a dick. But Mr. Swann, I believe, if I'm remembering correctly, his father was the former headmaster. Whereas Henderson took over as headmaster, I believe. Yeah. Sorry, he's not headmaster. It's some other guy. Good fella or something like that.
Yeah,
good fella. Yeah, something like that. Good fella or good fella, which is a hilarious name. A lot of the names are funny in the show. I will say, like Henry Henderson. Right? It's like that's a fun name. I like that. They're all they're all not headmasters but housemasters. Like the rest of the like the three people in the room, they're all like housemasters, not headmaster of the whole school. But I loved that Henderson realized, like, why am I trying to curry favor anyway? Right? Like, is currying favor really worth my dignity? Right? So he just hauls off and punches the dude in the face. And might I say, it was a very elegant punch. It was an absolutely elegant delivery.
It was so good.
I cheered. I genuinely cheered. I gotta say, of the new characters, right? Like, of the 3 new characters, I do hope the kid comes back. The kid who was stuck, because he was very sweet, right?
Yeah.
Like, I would like to see Anya and him, like, become friends, right? Because it's like, those... I like him. I think he's a good boy. Because, he's doing what the school asked, but he still felt bad doing it. You know, he was cool. I like the cow. I hope the cow comes back.
The cow.
The cow was cool. I liked the cow a lot. But my favorite of like our 3 new like human character. Well, our 4 new characters, I guess, because maybe the boy's a character. I don't know. I don't see him in the ED, so maybe he's not. But Henderson is the man. Like, we were literally like when we see them like walking through the school, like being tested. Which, by the way, could you imagine going in, walking through the courtyard, and being told, "Hey, you failed."
Yep.
Like, just by the way you're walking, right? Like, crazy.
I would have failed right away. I'm sorry. I'm not gonna lie. I would have just failed.
If it was like you, me, and our bunny kid Lopi, we would have instant failed. You know?
Yeah. You can put that up on the screen.
Here you go. Yeah, this
Here you
is
go.
this is lovely art that was commissioned by Lopi. I forget the name of the artist. I'll put that on screen as well. But yeah, if it was us 3 right here, that's an instant fail.
We would have failed so quickly.
We would have failed super fast.
Well, because one of us is a danger, the other one is a menace, and then we have JoJo.
And then Mr. Underhill, who's just kind of there.
Mr. Underhill. Yep, Mr. Underhill is just there. You know, it's just trying to keep the place from not exploding.
Yes.
Actually, I don't even know if we'd fail. We would fail, but I don't even know if there would be a school anymore.
Yeah, the whole thing would just be just.
It's gone. It's just gone.
But
On fire.
I loved Henderson because of the way that he was like, how very inelegant, right? To certain families, and then he's like, elegant, smart and elegant. Like, just when he was so fun.
I think it's always really funny to see characters that I think like some of the best characters in anime are always the ones who have like that one thing that they're just like super excited about.
Yes.
Like elegance, right? Or like in Agretsuko, there was the protein guy. And all he says is protein, but he's really funny, even though he doesn't say anything other than protein. Right? But like it's like
Armstrong.
the concept. Armstrong, right? Yeah. Like I'm trying to think of more characters. I know there's like other ones that exist. I just can't think of them at the top of my head. They're always really fun characters to have around.
I could think of like Shu from Tokyo Ghoul. Right? Yeah.
But can we talk about the Stampede and your being
an absolute badass? Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Well, like, Twilight saves a kid, right? It's funny because, like, we see, like, to me, like, the difference in skill set in this episode, and I never thought about it, right? Because, like, you know, Twilight's a spy, right? So, like, his job isn't really to whoop ass. His job is to be a spy. Like, he does whoop ass. Like, he is strong. He knows how to handle himself. But his main priority is saving people, right?
He's like brains almost.
Exactly.
Right?
Like, his job is save people, finish the mission with as little casualties and as little presence as possible, right? He's supposed to, you're not even supposed to know he's there, right? Yep. Whereas same thing, you're not supposed to know she's there, but she's more, like, assault-based, right? Whereas he's more defense-based. So, like, if you notice, like, he goes to save the kid, Yor goes to take down the cow, right? Like, one is very much, I'm not gonna lie, between the two of them, if they were to, like, actually straight up fight, which I think we are gonna get next week, I kind of think Yor would win.
I'm pretty sure Yor would win.
Yeah, I think Yor would win, because Yor seems more deadly, right? Whereas, like, don't get me wrong, Twilight's strong as hell, like, and I do think Twilight would take a lot of characters. We did put Twilight up against somebody last week, and I don't remember who it was. And I don't remember if people did say who Twilight could beat in a fight. But do you remember who it was?
No.
I don't remember who it was. But, like, Twilight, I think, no joke, could probably tank a lot of anime characters, probably solo. But you put Yor against Twilight, and I think it's close, but I think she's stronger, right? And we see that in the way that she's able to just pressure point that cow, right? And it just, like, falls down. You see the skill set in all 3 of them, too, because Anya is the only one to think, like, well, if I'm just nice to the cow, right, it'll just, like, go back, right?
Well, yeah, she reads the cow's mind. Is like,
and knows that it's scared. Yeah, so she, like, is nice to the cow, and the cow goes home, right? Yeah. Meanwhile, Yor was only focused on, like, this thing's coming for my family, quote-unquote, they're a family at this point, right? But this thing's coming from my family. I gotta pressure point this thing, all right? Because I can't kill it, because then everyone will see me kill this thing. So I have to just pressure point it and knock it out. And there's so many good, like, this show has so many good, like, reaction faces, right? Like, and seeing, like, Twilight and Anya, like, what the shit was that? They're just staring at her. It's so, man, Yor is awesome. I love Yor a lot. She's super cool.
Well, we even see, like, when they're at the interview, and, like, Yor is trying to comfort Anya, and Swann keeps being a dick.
She gets the clicky, like, she gets the clicky hands. You know what that reminds me of? Is, like, in JoJo's, when Joseph comes back, and everyone thinks he's dead, and he's like, you didn't send the letter back home? And she's like, no, I didn't think to. And he starts using his new mechanical hand to make clicky fingers. Right? And she's like, no clicky fingers. Like, Susie Q's like, no clicky fingers. That's what that reminded me of. Like, no, Yor no clicky fingers. Right? Because it's like, I was like, no. Like, no. Because she would have killed him right there. Right? Like, she gets into, like, a bloodlust mode, and it's kind of, I think it's hard for her to turn that off. Right?
Yeah.
So, like, you see, like, she gets mad. And I think maybe it was the punch to the desk that did snap her out of it, because I don't think she was expecting Twilight to react like that. Yeah. Right? Because I think of the three, he's the most calm. Right? Yeah. But even then, there's still enough rage in there to break a table into pieces.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, like, even though, you know, she's not, like, he didn't adopt her because he wanted a child.
Still his kid.
I think he's still getting this, like, attachment to Anya.
Yeah.
And it's really nice to see, like, this kind of, like, family come together.
Yes.
Than to just be like, oh, she's just some kid, you know?
Yeah. I like that, because we were joking a few times throughout the episode where it's just like, this is like, you know, like, they're not even my real family. I don't know why I'm reacting like this. We're like, come on. You know you care, Twilight, right? Like, Twilight and Yor both, at different points of the episode, try to be like, not that I care, though. I don't care. I know it's fake. Yeah. Right? It's like, come on. Both of you, please, right? Like, yeah. I do want more, like, we see it a little bit, but I want more of an episode that's heavily focused on progressing Yor and Twilight's relationship. Because I feel like we spend a lot of time with them as a unit, but I need a bit more time with Yor and Twilight together, which I do think next week might be that, right? Because we do see them fighting, so maybe that's going to be a thing. We also see Yor absolutely just demolishing a bottle of wine. So there's that.
I feel that.
Yeah, that's a hell of a mood. So I thought we would get our answer if they got in by the end of the episode. Now, I'm going to assume Henderson punching Swann is a good indicator that they got in.
Yes.
But we don't know that for sure just yet, right? It's still sort of up in the air. But, like, my guess is, like, A, they have to get in for the show to succeed. You know, for the show to keep going, they kind of have to get in. But I don't think we'll probably find out until, like, maybe, like, the end of next week's episode.
Yeah. Probably not.
Yeah, because it looks like next week is just, like, kind of them unwinding from, like, the exam. And we do get the friend back as well. The friend's back. He did get away from the art thieves. We see him in the PV for next week. But yeah, it was a good episode. It was a damn good episode. I loved Spy Family, like, a lot.
Yeah, I've been enjoying it, like, a lot, too.
Yeah.
It's been very good.
I agree. Anything else?
Nope, I don't think so.
All right. Well, with that said, outro. And that's going to do it for today's discussion, everybody. I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you so much for listening. As always, I want to give a big thank you to the lovely people who help support us over on Patreon. And if you too would like to have your name scrolling past the screen, then be sure to check out that Patreon link in the description. And of course, a big thank you has to go to Asaki VT, Elizabeth Just Elizabeth, JCran23, Jeremy P, Matt87 Eagle, Shadow Creative, Shiorins, Stephen G, Stevie W, Trap Master, Trevor W, and Tristan G. Thank you all so much for your continued support. It means the world to me. Thank you so much. Check me out over on Twitch, on Twitter, all the fun stuff. Links to everything are in the first link in the description. Thank you so much for watching / listening, and I will see you in the next one.